Welcome to Court Helicopter News. Our explainer this week deals with the fiasco that we saw in Tanzania, where the president-elect was sworn very funny way. Elections were conducted. The president could not be sworn in a public place. She had to be taken to a military barracks to be sworn there. Remember what happened in Kenya in the year 2017 when President Kibaki was declared the president-elect and he was sworn in at night at State House. From those episodes, Kenya made a constitution and created Article 141 of the Kenyan Constitution on how the President of the Republic of Kenya must be sworn in. What does the law say in Article 141 of the Assumption of the Office of the President? 141(1). The swearing in of the President-elect shall be in public. So the first thing is that the swearing in of the President-elect shall be in public, which means members of the public will attend, members of the media fraternity will attend. Nobody is to be denied access. That is the first condition. Number two, that swearing in shall be before the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice must be present. And the Constitution says if the Chief Justice, for one reason or another, is not available, then the Deputy Chief Justice must be present. The person to swear the President is the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. So the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary will give the President the oath of office to take in the presence of the Chief Justice or the Deputy Chief Justice. The second issue is in subparagraph 2. The swearing in will be done, or the president-elect shall be sworn in on the first Tuesday. Mark my words. On the first Tuesday. The President of the Republic of Kenya cannot be sworn on Monday. He can't be sworn on Wednesday, he can't be sworn on Thursday, he can't be sworn on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. It must be Tuesday, and the law is the first Tuesday, upon which, what is the consideration? 14 days after the declaration of the results. So if the president, IBC declares the president today, being Saturday, then after 14 days elapse, the first Tuesday after that 14 days, that is the date the president-elect will be sworn in. Number two, if there is an election petition challenging the president and the Supreme Court makes a decision that the president-elect is so and so, it says 7 days after the petition has been done and a decision has been made, the president on the 7th day after that, the president will be sworn in. It moves on to say the president then must be sworn in pursuant to the assumption of the President's Act. What does it say? The day the president will be sworn in will be declared a national holiday. Mark my words. This day the president is sworn in, president-elect shall be a national holiday. Two, the timing the president must take an oath of office between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The president cannot be sworn at night. The president cannot be sworn very early. It must be between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. in a public place. Third, the swearing in must be done in the capital city, in Nairobi. So don't expect the president one day to be sworn in Nyamira, or one day the president will be sworn in Kitui, or the president will be sworn in Kisumu. It is by law. The swearing in must be in the capital city, in a public place. So, if the president of the Republic of Kenya is being sworn in, it will either be in Kasarani Stadium, it will be in Nyayo Stadium, it will be at Uhuru Park, a public place that is accessible to the public to attend. Lastly, during the swearing in of the president, there will be a handover ceremony by the sitting head of state. The sitting head of state will hand over instruments of power to the incoming president. Among the instruments of power is a sword that is normally kept by the military. He will also be given a constitution to take over the reins of power. And there, the president takes the oath and becomes the president, who will serve for a duration of 5 years, eligible for re-election for another term of 5 years. The president of Kenya's maximum term limit is 10 years continuous service. If the president loses, for example, if President Ruto loses in the election of 2027, he will be eligible to contest again in 2032. He must serve 2 terms, continuous or split. That is the law. It is very different from the law that we have seen in Tanzania, where Samia Suluhu is declared the winner, sworn in a military barrack to the exclusion of the public. Why has the law allowed these timelines? The law has allowed these timelines to ensure that anybody who loses an election has a time to challenge that election at the Supreme Court. 2, to allow an orderly way of transitioning between the new president and the old president. What are the benefits the president-elect gets once one has been declared a president-elect by the IBC? He starts receiving security briefs. Remember, it is only the sitting head of state allowed to be given briefs, security briefs, by the National Security Council and those in charge of security. Any public officer who will deny the president-elect that benefit shall be prosecuted. Lastly, immediately somebody is declared as a presidential-elect, he gets a presidential security. The presidential security takes care of the presidential-elect until he is sworn in to take over. And that is why you saw retired President Uhuru Kenyatta had to come to Kasarani to hand over instruments of power to the incoming president-elect, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. That is the law. That is the position. Court Helicopter News brings you what is likely to happen and what will happen on the year 27. Remember, the general elections that generate a president are conducted on August. That is also provided for in the Constitution. Wakili Danstan Omari on Court Explainer on Court Helicopter News. Thank you very much.